And we're live. JLR investigates. Come on in. Luigi Mangione court hearing. State court. Going to be brought to the courthouse here very, very shortly, folks. We're going to cover this case. He's in court today. Arraignment on his state charges. Hello. Good morning. The best part of waking up. Covering up this case. Luigi Mangione. Come on in, folks. JLR investigates outside the courthouse. I also have another feed that shows inside this courthouse here. There might be some sort of perp walk, possibly of Mangione going into court. But let's talk about this case. Let's see what happens. Also, there's reports of protesters outside of the courthouse in supporters of Luigi. So get yourself a beverage, get yourself some breakfast, and come watch this morning and see what we see. Maybe we'll see something, maybe we won't. This is a live feed in Manhattan. So, as some of you might or might not know, Luigi, suspect arrested in connection with the Unitedhealthcare shooting. Brian Thompson, CEO Brian Thompson. He was extradited recently to New York. I'm told my mic is cracking. Is that better? Mic check. Mic check. Come on in. Mic check. Is it good? Testing. 1, 2, 3. So, you know, he's in New York. He's held in federal custody. I just put out a tweet about my opinion about the federal custody / state charges, both Fed charges and state charges. He's facing both state and Fed charges. I mean, that is rare, but it does happen, and it is allowed to happen. People are saying my mic is way better. Crackling. Come on in. I don't know. I'm going to have to get a microphone for this. Could bring Magnolia in the chat. All right, I'm going to go out and come back in. All right, JLR is back at it. We cover true crime 24/7, 365. Hopefully that is better. Give me a mic check. All right, and if not, I'll use another phone. No problem, because we're gonna keep this feed open and see what happens today. There's also an additional feed, and I'm seeing if there's other views and angles of what's going on with this case. Come on in, JLR. Much better, way better. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Monday morning, 12/23/2024, a couple days before Christmas, folks. Luigi. So, I put out a tweet, and I just want to. I'm gonna kind of read off my tweet here because I am fascinated with both the Fed and state charges when it comes to Luigi. But there is some interesting things about this particular case, right? And I put out the tweet. I said, Luigi Mangione is in court today for arraignment on state charges. He also faces separate Fed charges and is currently being held in Fed custody, not state. Will be interesting to see who takes a crack at him first at trial, Feds or state. I suspect the Feds. Reason being because he's already in their custody. Usually, parallel cases, state and Feds, the state would go first. The suspect will be held in state custody until outcome of the case, then transferred over to the Feds, and the Feds do that whole process. But this case is different. This case seems to be backwards. Feds first, then state. Remember, he got arraigned on his Fed case first. He's held in Fed custody. I suspect since it's that way in that scenario, there could be a possibility the state eventually drops its entire case against Luigi and lets the Feds proceed on him instead, as they have a better conviction rate, better resources, and the max penalty for this crime is death opposed to state, which is life. because I ended my tweet, what's the point of having two trials? What is the point? Can someone explain to me what is the point of having two trials? The only thing I can think of is added insurance on one in case one of them gets overturned. One of them gets overturned. Or, having two might put leverage on his attorney to make a deal. The Agniphilos, his attorney, Karen, he faces tough challenges ahead, Mr. Mangione, because of these two cases. He's going to be brought into court soon on the state case here. It's very quiet outside the courthouse. I'm going to see if I can find additional feeds of what's going on. Nope, we are. I'll let you see. I'm going to share the other feed inside the courthouse here in the hallways. They got cameras set up in the hallways here. I'll show you what's going on inside the courtroom. Mangione. There you go. That's inside the courtroom. We'll leave it here for a bit. Possibility he gets ushered down here and they do a perp walk. Possibility. We'll wait and see. They're in there for a reason. So we'll just go back and forth and see what's going on. Also, there's reports, I've saw clips already of some protesters outside of the courthouse. And they put flyers out emphasizing what they're going to do. And you know that Luigi in this case has supporters, folks. There are people. A far left organization put out a flyer yesterday saying Monday, December 23rd, 8 a.m. at Century Street, Manhattan, 100 Center Street. Show up for Luigi. Fight for healthcare reform now. So there could be some protesters, supporters, maybe out there. We will see. I'm sure there'll be feeds up. Luigi in court. And as some of you know, in this particular case, I don't think cameras are allowed in the courtroom. But we'll see what happens. Come on in. JLR Investigates. Now, would there be a possibility that he stays in state custody once he goes in today and instead goes into state's hands and goes to Rikers Island? Possibility. I think, though, he'll get arraigned, an arraignment, and then feds will take him back to the Metropolitan Detention Center, the same detention center where Sean P. Diddy Combs is being held. I don't think the feds will relinquish the body, produce the body to the state as far as custody-wise, but produce this body for purposes of being arraigned on these state charges. And he's indicted. He's indicted by the state too. But the penalties between the state and the feds are much different. In this particular case, hey, is that the, that's ICE. Look, he got a shirt on him that said ICE. Interesting. ICE is in the building. The maximum penalty for the feds in this particular case is death. Speaking of death penalty, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, commuted the death penalty sentences of 37 of 40 men that are on death row. he basically commuted everyone on death row to life in prison, except 3 cases. The Boston bomber, Dylan Roof, and the synagogue shooter out of Pittsburgh. He commuted the sentences of 37 death row inmate men today. Today. He did it today. That means only 3 men are on death row. What do we got? Oh, well, there he is. There he is. Here he comes. I'll stay quiet. There he is. Luigi. Wow. There he is, folks. Flanked by numerous officials. Look at his shoes. Wait, they're orange. They're the prison shoes. They're the Metropolitan Detention Center shoes or prison shoes. This is current, live, right now. Luigi. Perp walk. Wow. There he goes for his arraignment, folks. There he goes, flanked by numerous NYPD and officials. Looked like they were detectives. Some might have been feds. Look at all the cameras. They did that pretty quick. We didn't have to wait long for that. Wow. Luigi just took the perp walk. Luigi just took the perp walk, folks. So the arraignment here, we don't know if, I'm assuming his attorney Karen's going to be in there, maybe even Mark with Karen. I can't see it more than 30 minutes. These arraignments usually go pretty quick, right? I do think, though, that his attorney will probably raise some questions about him being held in federal court and what's going on between this and the federal case. I think she will probably raise that. It was a quick walk, but at least we got to see it. They're not playing in New York when it comes to this perp walk stuff for this guy. I mean, we saw him getting off the chopper the other day in the perp walk along the river there, and the mayor press conference, and the NYPD chief was there, and they're walking him. Very, very interesting. Perp walk, Luigi. This is the live scene. Manhattan. But like I said, with this guy's court, it will be interesting because he has 2 parallel cases. I truly doubt that the federal government will drop their case against Luigi. No ands, if or buts. Feds ain't dropping their case. The question is, what is the state going to do? Because you pretty much have this guy, and you can, because of the feds, their 97% conviction rate, feds have unlimited resources. But what about the state? the state say to him, to his, in the interest of judicial, they'll call it judicial economy. In the interest of judicial economy, we'll give the feds, we'll give them to the feds. But even if the state does proceed, which I'm suspect about, if they do proceed, who gets at them first? Whoever decides. I mean, who's going to go at them first? Where does Luigi get tried first? State or feds? Can anyone answer that question in the chat? That's the courtroom here. So he's going to come back out. Never know. He could do an outburst. When we get signs that it come back up, we'll put the volume on next time and see if he answers any questions. It is not double jeopardy. I know some people in the chat were saying double jeopardy. I don't believe it's double jeopardy. He's actually, both cases, he's charged with different charges on each case. I don't believe it's double jeopardy. Both the feds and the state are separate sovereigns. Believe both of them can take a bite at the apple. Take a bite at the big fish. Luigi, the big fish. Christopher ATX says appeals court will rule double jeopardy, analysts say. I don't think so. They could try, but I don't think they'll successfully win that argument. And again, usually with cases, the state goes first, and then the feds go next. Didn't that happen with Derek Chauvin? Didn't that happen with Dylan Roof? Didn't that happen with Slager, the officer that shot the man in the back in Charleston? Those are just 3 cases, I believe. The state went first, and then the feds went second. But in this case, it's very interesting because, see, the feds could have just had their complaint against him, and state, he goes to state, he's doing this, and then eventually goes to the feds or whatever. But the feds seemed like they intercepted him on this helicopter and took him to federal custody before state custody. So it seems like the feds are first. And that's, to me, based off, my experience through the system and seeing cases and court cases, to me, that's rare that the feds would go ahead of the state. To me. Jonathan, nice to see you. Good morning, Jonathan. Jonathan says, have they interrogated Luigi yet, or is he just staying silent? Seems like he would be a talker. I'm sure he wants to talk, Jonathan. Obviously, he said a lot when he was going into the extradition hearing, when he was screaming, or that court hearing in Pennsylvania, not the extradition hearing, but the court hearing in Pennsylvania when he got slammed against the wall and was talking about healthcare. I'm sure he wants to talk, and maybe possibly he did talk. But now that he has that very high-priced attorney, I doubt he's talking. I doubt he's talking. Here's the thing, though. If state was going to get at him first, he would probably be held in why held in federal custody? Wouldn't he be held in Rikers Island if the state was going to go at him first? Because he's probably most likely going to be arraigned here and go back into federal custody. His lawyer probably did tell him to shut up. Don't say a word, Luigi, at all. And of course, he's going to plead not guilty today. Has there ever been a case where a defendant actually pled guilty at their arraignment? Yeah, I did it. This is all standard and procedure. I mean, lots and lots, if not millions of defendants went through this entire process the same way. Go in arraignment, not guilty. There you go. And then you go, for him, it would be prelim, right? Whether he wants to waive it or not. status hearings, conference hearings. All right, so people are tweeting out that he pled not guilty. See, he could be out of here very, very shortly. It's being reported that he pled not guilty. He pleads not guilty to the state murder charges. Not guilty. Hey, Magnolia, when you get the chance, can you put the volume up? We'll hear, because I do think he's coming out shortly. He'll be out, I think, very, very shortly.
Not in your shop, Rich. No.
Got a lot of people in there waiting for their paparazzi shot. You got a lot of cameras, media, journalists out in that hallway. Good morning, everyone.
Hotel will be
Hey, so I fed in everything.
if you could, and you don't have to, but when he's walking right here, I'm gonna dip down.
Yeah, promise I can move away right at that moment.
If you want to come down low,
Just try.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, do what you have to do. Yeah.
You have a light you're using when he comes in?
No.
Yeah, a little pay wave, yeah.
Actually, should oh, is the light a good thing or a bad thing?
Good. A little dark in there.
Just enough.
Thank you, Fly Girl, for the one gifted membership.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure when they block off the elevators. That'll be the 30-second warning.
You don't even need a ladder. Just, yeah, I'm on one over there. I'm on the flat. This is when you need 8-foot clearance if you're in the elevator. Are you falling away?
So it's interesting he's still in there. He'd already pled not guilty, so they must be ironing out and talking about some other issues. Assuming that they're going to bring him out the same way he got brought in. Probably is only one way in, one way out, and that's here, the hallway.
Just a little bit. That's pretty good. Wow. I'll definitely go.
I would not have done this
In 24 hours.
coming towards it. So we can see his face.
Met 56 and 32 and everything. Get a good look.
Yeah, once he makes that focus. They're not in there now.
Yeah, look at the battery on there. I got batteries. We won't need them. Got lots of batteries.
Everybody stop walking down. Step down. Step down.
All right, here he comes. Here he comes.
Luigi, do you have anything to say? Luigi, want to say something?
He said something. Look at that huge police presence surrounding him. thought he said something.
Hold on, guys. We're not releasing anybody yet.
Me personally, I thought he said I'm innocent or something like that. When that loud one said, "Hey, anything to say, Luigi?" I thought I saw him say something. Yeah, we'll show over shortly. We're gonna see what happens here. Do you think that was a lot of extra there, like extra theatrics? Oh, who's that? Or we'll keep the feed up because I think the feed's going to go outside shortly. Aaron, the attorney. There's his attorney.
Any comment on the proceedings?
There's his attorney on crutches.
So everything was fed back. Coming in. Yeah. Al, you want the key?
What?
Took you a little while.
Maybe she gives a press conference or something outside. I'm going to look and see if there's another feed, but we got this going on right now. That was no more than a half hour.
Sometimes it's good to be for arguing case.
More elevators than there are in the hall.
All the way from court to court. You got that buried. Stop.
You guys leave.
Oh, for leave. That's live shot for pool, so you know, still, people can still be looking into it, talking about the case.
What do we got? Oh yeah, we got an outside feed. Okay, so possibly a press conference, or somebody will speak. Maybe it's attorneys, maybe the prosecutors.
Why does the market
All right, back live outside the courthouse here. They might be giving a press conference here. We're going to see and wait. All right, so I thought he said something, possibly. Said something outside while he was going out, but I'm not sure. What do you think? Did you hear something? All right, so the attorney's left. All right, we got something coming up right here. All right, so Luigi pled not guilty. You can hear people screaming, "Free, free Luigi."
Call Billy.
That's taking a while, huh? Wow, this is a moving time, huh? How's reason to that one? Done? Ah, nice.
That's crazy.
Did the lawyers leave already? Did the lawyers come out?
Yeah, she just broke me out. Gone to town left.
Who got to go?
don't know how your fingers are working though. They're not. You need hand warmers? Yes. Do you have some in your bag? Where's your gloves? You need fingertip gloves. Cookies. You're still streaming?
Notices we.
This must have been him in court. That was him in court. It actually fast forward. I'm gonna actually get the slower down. Magnolia, I sent you a link here. They had him in court, and they had this. We'll get that up in a second.
Yeah, fine, that's fine. I think it was down there. It's kind of. Yeah, I'm good. What are you doing? Another job. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be. Go. Anytime you get that whole thing, all it is one for you. Fed in arrival.
Hotel will be released at 1:30.
Hey, so I fed in everything.
If you could, and you don't have to, but
You're supposed to.
when he's walking right here, I'm gonna dip down.
Yeah, promise I can move away right at that moment.
If you want to come down low,
Just try.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, do what you have to do. Yeah.
Can you zoom in, Thompson?
No.
Yeah, little, pay right, yeah.
Actually, should throw a whole lot. Is the light a good thing or a bad thing?
Good. A little dark in there. No,
Just enough.
We had an issue with this, and we talked to the poor people. You talk to them.
Let's chat. Are you hot? Are you hot? We want justice. You say how?
All right, they must have took it off. They probably didn't want to hear their message. We'll put his photo up, Magnolia, when you get the chance. They're probably like, nah, we don't want to hear none of those protesters or supporters. We don't want to hear them. Not at all. All right, so this is Luigi. Look at Luigi right there. So apparently the courts are saying that he just basically pled not guilty. I'm trying to get the feed of what his attorney said. There was a fast moving shot. It was filmed inside that courtroom, but I don't think it was broadcasted live for Luigi. But to me, when he was coming out, it seems like he said something. Like he said something like, I'm innocent. I heard him mumble something. Like, I'm innocent. I didn't do it. I've been framed. Healthcare is a threat on America. They still got the microphones outside. Still got the microphones outside. So I'm trying to get one of the clips before. I want to see what actually happened in the courtroom, because there is a feed, or they filmed it. With the last clip that we played, they had it weird. They had it fast forwarded. Let me see if I can find another feed on it. Live supporters are out there, but I mean, what's that going to do? The feds got them. Will the supporters last? Why are they supporting a guy that comes from a privileged, wealthy family? Why are they supporting an individual that comes from a silver spoon in his mouth? Exactly what these people are protesting. To me, it doesn't really make no sense. But hey, this is the United States of America, the right to protest, right? People protest. It's their right. Why they gravitate towards this guy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me try one more time to get this, what happened inside the courtroom. Let's see if I can get this clip here. But apparently, no one is putting it out there now. Luigi, dressed in I don't know what that is, collared shirt.
As rap sheet, I believe the court has it. We give the court an extra copy and one to counsel. Does the court wish that we be heard with respect to bail?
Well, what is the situation with the federal authorities? They have a string.
As we understand that we have primary jurisdiction, and we have been informed by the U.S. Attorney that they intend on allowing us to try our case first. So with respect to whatever goes on there, as the party with primary jurisdiction, the trial and the sentencing will take place here prior to anything that takes place in the federal system.
So what you just said, the answer is it's fine if we take custody today.
That I'm not sure, because Your Honor signed a writ in which it says that we're going to return the defendant to federal custody. So I think that would be step two. I do think that logically, as the party with primary jurisdiction, the custody should be here, but I asked the court, in light of the court signing the writ, indicating that we would return him to federal custody, that be done at a later time.
Well, I've been through this before, and if you do that, they will rig him right out of here. So I don't think I'm going to do that. But if you work it out with him, that we will take custody rather than us bringing him back for any proceedings, that'll be great.
We will make every effort to accomplish that, Your Honor.
But there should be some kind of detainment, and they know that.
Yes.
If their security order changes, there should be some mechanism that we put on people.
Absolutely.
And then you can do that. All right, is there any further?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to make a record, if that's okay with Your Honor. First, we'd request immediate expedited discovery in this case. The people have had this case for about almost 3 weeks, and that's more than enough time to gather as much information as they can give to us, especially now that we have two proceedings that we have to answer to, one of them being death eligible. So we are requesting that we get immediate discovery of the New York City Police Department and FBI and federal and state documents. And the second thing I want to make a record of, Your Honor, is I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial, but none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another, but at the expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal. And to have all of these, the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk. Absolutely no need for that whatsoever. And Fred should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when he dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this. He has a right to a fair trial. And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client. Nothing saying alleged, for example. And he said, I wanted to send a strong message with the police commissioner that we're leading from the front. I'm not going to just allow him to come into our city. I wanted to look him in the eye and state, you carried out this terrorist act in my city, the city of New York that I love. And he wanted to show symbolism. Your Honor, he's not a symbol. He's somebody who is afforded the right to a fair trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. And the mayor was talking to jurors, future potential jurors that elected him. Those are the people that elected him, that he is talking to and calling this man a terrorist. So Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence. And we're going to fight these charges, whether it's in the state or federal, to the fullest extent. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, well, as you know, I have very little control of what happens outside of this court. But I can guarantee you, as I guarantee every defendant who comes through these doors, that the defendant will receive a fair trial. And we will carefully select a jury that time comes, or when that time comes. But yes, we should expedite discovery.
Your Honor, the discovery in this case is voluminous, to say the least. I have never seen a case with such volume of evidence, aside from the issue of the quality of the evidence. I suggest to counsel, because we have a discovery portal, but given how much evidence there is against this defendant, it would be smarter if counsel could provide us with a 2 terabyte external drive rather than rely on the crashing of the portal. With respect to statement and identification notice, we will be giving that notice within the next 15 days. We're preparing an ADF. We'll do our best to expedite discovery, but I'll say that with redactions and with the volume of it, we're hoping to do it as best we can under, this is not a usual case in terms of the thousands of hours of video tracking and the like, and the fact that we're not only responsible for discovery in this county, but in Altoona, where the arrest was made and where several officers were involved. And we're in touch with those people, and we're going to get everything counsel's entitled to. As to other issues, I think a 30-day adjournment to see where we're at, and to, of course, counsel's aware of the various notices. We have notices as well. I take it that counsel will abide by the statutory limitations on their notices with respect to any notices they believe to be appropriate. As to counsel's record on the mayor, basically repeating what the mayor said, I don't know how that advances the ball. We will comply with our ethical obligations with respect to trying this defendant's guilt in this courtroom and this courtroom alone. Thank you.
All right, so
That's weird. Very, very weird. I think that's both husband and wife there with him. Well, that's interesting. I want to send this over to you, Magnolia. So he's signing papers. So as the lawyers goes off on just thank you for the super sis sticker. Is that Robble? Robble?
Good.
Luigi's frozen. All right. So, there he is. So apparently court cameras are allowed in the courtroom in New York. Looks like this was on a, look, he smiled there on a few minute delay. He smiled. You got police right over him. He's on the hot seat. Luigi's on the hot seat. I'm sure he doesn't want to be in this position now, but it is what it is. I mean, he has to deal with the consequences here. Do you think he regrets what he did in any way? Or do you think thinks he's some sort of martyr / hero in this? Do you think that Luigi regrets? Do you think he has any remorse? What do you think he's thinking about when he's in this courtroom? Seems like he is aware of his surroundings. Seems like he knows what's going on, understands the nature of the proceedings. So I don't expect his lawyer to come up with any incompetent.
Can you take this? Can you take one picture too? Can you take this? Okay. No worries. Can you take this? Can you take one picture too? Can you take this? Okay. No worries.
And he's off.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Happy holidays.
So I think they do the feed right back outside as protesters and supporters are for Luigi outside. With him coming into court taken earlier, so people are just jumping in the chat.
Here we go. Anything to say? Luigi, do you have anything to say? Luigi, you want to say something?
Said something.
Stay inside the press box.
Why do you think they walk so slow?
It's all theatrics.
I cut this down for him walking in and then him walking out, and it was like 4 minutes. And I was like, how is it 4 minutes long?
Yeah, you did a great job putting this together really quickly.
Yeah, I got it down to 3 minutes, but 3 entire minutes, and all it is walking in the hallway, up and down one way. It's just like so slow. He has his prison shoes on.
Here we go.
Khaki pants, a maroon sweater, white collared skirt.
Anything to say?
The camera flashes.
Luigi, do you have anything to say? Luigi, you want to say something?
Stay inside the press box.
All right, I was seeing if there was any additional feeds out there. I do not. Protesters are still out. That will probably die down now that this is over. That's it. It wasn't that big of deal. I mean, it is a big deal in a sense of him being paraded back and forth. I was searching to see if there was any additional things I could share with the audience, and I don't see any. So, your take on what you just saw, Magnolia?
Yeah, I think I have the same take as everyone else. He clearly acts like he's entitled. He's too good for this. This is below him. He shouldn't even be here. That was what he was projecting with all the smirking and, the smug faces he was making the whole time. And he looked very happy when Karen Agnifilo started talking about how his rights have been violated. We expected that, though.
Yeah, there's numerous things. I'm looking on Twitter. Numerous people took screenshots, and they're finding him smiling in court, laughing a little bit. I mean, as his attorney is saying that his rights are violated, and he's being ping-ponged back and forth between saying his rights are being violated in all many ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when he's walking down the hall, when he first walked in and he's coming down the hall, he's like bobbing his head around, like smirking, looking smug, making the faces with his eyebrows and all this other stuff. Similar to what he did the other day during the perp walk, but yeah, Mary Bell Lopez said he's over impressed with himself. Yes, exactly. He definitely has a very outsized opinion of himself, that's for sure. But yeah, he just acts like, this is below him and he's too good for this.
Another thing I noticed, though, the state said they intend to try him first. Did I hear that correctly?
I think that's what they're wanting. So it was hard to tell with that hearing, though.
So she wants all discovery. Probably going to be the discovery. Things are not being given to them. I think that route will probably be brought up, down the line, that the state is withholding evidence, and or his attorneys challenging both jurisdictions, both the state and the feds, taking a crack at him at the same time. I think that all that kind of issue is going to be brought up. Double jeopardy in a nutshell.
Yeah, they're going to have to work that out and figure out which case goes first. But yeah, he was definitely looking down on these proceedings. But I can tell that he is pleased, though, with his attorneys.
Yeah, it looks like they do have a relationship. Now, Mark was there too, the husband. Both attorneys were in this. So he's representing him also on the state case?
They both came into court on, what day was it? Thursday, when he came originally. So Mark and Karen Agnifilo both came and said that they were representing him. So yeah, and then the federal case, that's a whole other situation.
Yeah. They went together on the Fed case, but now they're together today on the state case. So I'm assuming that both of them are going to be representing him on both cases. That's interesting.
Yeah, for now.
For now. We'll see what happens for now. Ultimately, I said in the chat, 2 cases. I mean, what is the point? But I guess each one wants to hold him accountable, or assurances that if one conviction gets overturned, at least one will stick and he never gets out. And and I'm jumping the cart right here. I mean, assuming he's guilty, I mean, it doesn't look good for him. Doesn't look good for him. It looks like they have a slam dunk case.
Right.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Anything else to add?
No, I mean, that was a pretty quick appearance today. So he went in, pled guilty, and his attorney's first started talking about his rights being violated. So we should expect more of that. That's, you know, that's typical. So they'll do anything they can to help him with his defense, which is their job. And he, of course, deserves representation like any other defendant.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. JLR Magnolia Investigates. Luigi in court. What happens next? You'll hear it here on JLR Investigates. Probably go live later with something else about him that's brewing.
Yeah. Well, there'll be, I'm sure we'll get some prison stories and things like that will start coming out before we know it. So we've all seen this before.
Yep. Thanks for watching this segment, folks. Spending the time, Luigi in court. I thought that was interesting. Worth watching for sure.
Yep.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right.
Be safe. Bye-bye.